But like what I wanted to do was, like I said, when I came with Pinata, Bandana, Freddie, Alfredo, things of that nature, I wanted to establish that like bar for bar, like I can rap the best.
Ska ringa Freddie Gibbs. Helt vanlig dag på jobbet. Daniel, kan du inte ringa Freddie Gibbs? Ja, som att det är en helt vanlig grej. Let's go. The next person doesn't need an introduction, but just because he doesn't need an introduction doesn't mean I'm not gonna give him one. We're sitting here with the one and only babyface killer, Gangsta Gibbs himself is in the building. Freddie Gibbs, how you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing amazing, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you taking the time, man.
I want to say congratulations on the Grammy nomination. Very long overdue, if you ask me. How do you feel things have changed since the announcement?
I think the respect level for me has always been there. People know what I do. Mm-hmm. But I think that like they're starting to notice it on a mainstream level now. So it's kind of cool.
You were speaking to the Bodega Boys and you said like you got way more white fans now.
I mean, I think I already had a lot of white fans. I think that it's just like, being nominated for the Grammy is just, I don't know, it's a different kind of thing. I never thought that I'd, be nominated for the album of the year. Mm. You know what I mean? Well, of course, like I said, every time I do it, I feel like I should, but I know how political things get. I know how, the industry is. Mm. So I don't base my art off, getting awards or anything like that. So, but when you get invited to the party, it's always great. And, we take it in and keep it moving, know? I don't ever get too high on my highs and I don't ever get too low on my lows,
Yeah. I want to go back in your career a little bit. Alfredo's the album that you're nominated for, obviously. Alchemist, classic. But Pinata was a classic in its own, a super good project. What made you and Madlib go like, hey man, let's do this one more time? And what's the thought process when going into making Bandana?
The thing with Bandana was we did something very special with Pinata. I honestly wanted to not necessarily replicate that, but like just add another piece to my to my trophy room. I was like, man, I gotta have another album like that on that kind of level. Mm. So I can show people like, oh, this shit wasn't just a fluke or, anything of that nature. Like, I'm here and I'm here for a reason. Yeah. And I think that Pinata showed people that, you know what I'm saying? But Bandana really stamped that. Yeah. You know what I mean? I look at everything before Pinata, everything before that was kind of like exercise, like mixtapes, like, you know what I mean? Like college, you know what I mean? And then when I made Bandana, I got into pros, you know what I'm saying? And then it was just like, all right, like now I know, what's expected of me every time I drop a project. I set a standard.
I feel like you brought back, just speaking about these collab albums with one producer, one artist, it hasn't really been a popping thing in hip-hop since you brought it back. You made this like a stamp. And did you ever, when creating like Pinata, feel like, how's the world going to receive a creative album? Because Madlib speaks as well through the music, and you, and vice versa, you speaking through each other in a very musical way. Did you ever feel like discouraged, like how is the world going to receive this album?
My music was never played on the radio. My music was never played in the club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of course, I got like records that could have been, radio and club records, but I was never on a major label. So the same pressures that an artist on a major label would have of making those like kind of records that are like top 10 Billboard, type of records. I never had those pressures.
Yeah.
So it was just like, all right, I'm not on a major label, man. I'm not, in my mind, I was like, I'm not, going to be Drake or Meek Mill or anybody like that. Mm. So let me be the best Freddie Gibbs that I could be.
Yeah.
And eventually it's going to like shine through. If I try to do, of course you got to study the game, but if I try to do everything that everybody else is doing, I'm just going to be behind them. You know what I mean? Like standing in line, waiting my turn. So it's like, I didn't want to wait my turn. So I feel like I just created my own lane. I feel like I kind of like everybody that's like getting off like these like bars, that's getting getting blessed for having bars and all that type stuff. And, you know, I feel like I brought that back because I feel like before that, you know, everybody was running to the auto tune and trying to be like Future. You know what I mean? Future created a genre of music, and like everybody after him really is like his son to me. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to that lane of stuff, I really just listen to Future. He the king of that lane. Yeah, he one of my top 5 favorite artists, period. You know what I mean? So I look at him and I'm like, oh man, shit, that's his lane, bro. Like, why would I, you know,
try to touch his lane and
try to touch his lane. I'm just gonna keep coming bar for bar. You know what I mean? Like niggas can like rap on different kind of beats and stuff like that, and you know, and go in and out of different cadences and things of that nature. But you know, it was all about just me being me. And like you said, you've been listening to my stuff since Babyface Killer, so you know how versatile I am.
I know.
That was never a question. But like what I wanted to do was, like I said, when I came with Pinata, Bandana, Petty, Alfredo, things of that nature, I wanted to establish that like bar for bar, like I can rap the best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, if I put that narrative out there, like, you know, like, all right, let me rap on some of these sample beats, like stuff like that. Let me do something other than what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? Everybody was on the Atlanta wave, popping, you know, shit like that. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, all music don't got to be like club music or shit like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, really, man, to be honest, I just kept it gangster.
Yeah.
I just kept it gangster Gibbs. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep it like that and build my brand up, you know what I mean? To the point where people like, you know, I made my own wave.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, the path that I've taken to even get to a Grammy nomination is, you know, very, very different than anybody. Like, I'm not from a huge city, so there wasn't like I don't come from a radio-based city where you get radio support. I don't come from, you know what I mean, a city that's popping with a bunch of clubs and all of that type of stuff. I'm not from a tourist attraction. You know what I mean? I never had a big, like, rap cosign, so to speak. So, you know, through this game, like I said, I've taken a very, very unique path to get where I'm at.
You said you didn't have like a cosign, but it always felt like a lot of people still fucked with you, even in the beginning. Like you had like Zero on your first album. You had a bunch of people on your album that was still like cemented, they felt like you were bringing the truth and they wanted to be a part of what you were creating. A
lot of everybody that collabed with me through the years, you know what I'm saying, it was always organic and it was always like off the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they rock with me. They just, you know, they knew who I was and what I, you know, cemented, you know, from my real life.
Yeah.
So just like, all right, yeah, I'm with it.
But we're living in strange times now, Freddie. Politically and socially, how has COVID affected your creative process?
I would say I'm not out as much, so it's definitely dulled a little bit of the inspiration. But you know, I'm taking all of this in, and you know, inshallah, God willing, did a great album come out of it. So I think I'm fine creatively.
Yeah.
You know, as long as I stay inspired some kind of way. It's just been, you know, a little difficult to be inspired when you're not out living life. Like I'm a touring rap artist. You know, we haven't toured in a year, so it's definitely different. So, you know, so since, you know, the experience is different, you know, it's gonna be like different things to talk about on the record, you know.
Speaking of things on records and things that might come to fruition, I saw somebody posted they wanted to see you versus Pusha T, and you were quick to shut that down by saying, fuck all that, I want to do a record with Pusha. Has there been any talks between you and Push?
Nah, not as of yet, but that would definitely be something that I would definitely engage in. I love Pusha T. I definitely couldn't beat him in a fucking verses. I mean, like he's a top. I mean, you know, not only is he one of the best bar for bar rappers up there, but he got like hits. You know what I mean? He got hits with Pharrell. How could I go against this man in a verses? That would be idiotic, you know. So you know, Push is the king for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just happy, you know, I even get mentioned in the same sentences, guys like that. So
yeah, but you still stay working though. Just heard the new song with you and ScHoolboy, Gang Signs. How did that come about? Because I felt like sample wise, it gave me that Babyface Killer vibe on it.
Yeah.
How did that song come about?
Shout out my homeboy Ness. We're working on Dying. You know, those guys, they brought me that record. They came to LA. Ness came to LA, brought me the record. And then I just, you know, it gave me like Do or Die, Twista, Bone Thugs vibes. What I did was I was just like, all right, man, let me just make a jam to this joint. And I loved it. And I was like, all right, let me get somebody on this. You know what I mean? And, you know, I was like, I'm talking about gang signs and gang stuff. So I was like, let me get somebody who's in a gang. And it's like, you know, Q was right there. And then I was like, oh man, a couple back and forth conversations. And then we just pulled up at the studio and made it happen, man. Shout out to ScHoolboy Q for that. Like, you know, it's definitely, you know, they playing this record on the radio.
Are you and Zero ever dropping another track? Because Box Frame Cadillac is still a monster. When I listen to that, how you attack that and how Zero attacked that record is one of the best back and forth I've ever heard.
Hopefully, you know, I definitely would. Zero's a legend. So yeah, I would definitely work with him again. I was supposed to go to Texas this weekend, but they having some bad weather. So, you know. You
have like a crazy tour life. Like crazy things happen to you during tours. When you were in Russia, something really funny happened. Can you speak upon that?
They gave me a gun when I got there. And AK-47.
Yeah.
And I was just riding around Russia with that. Hopefully they don't lock me up and nothing like that. I don't think I want to go back to Russia anyway, so I see myself going back there. They have to pay me a lot of like everything over that way, Eastern Europe. I don't know about all that stuff.
You're going to stay away from there?
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from that area.
No, Freddie, it's been very nice speaking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time out, and good luck to you. Hope you do great at the Grammys, and thank you for this.
All right.
No. I have one question. I have one more question.
Okay.
When will you be back on Instagram? What happened?
They banned me from Instagram, man. They said I'm a timeline terrorist, so you know.
So that's why.
I got an Instagram. You can follow me right now, Freddie Gibbs Official.
Oh, you're still as crazy as you are on the other one?
Nah, I'm chilling on that.
All right, but thank you, Freddie, for taking the time.
All right, thank you, brother.
Vi är TT, din gata, där hiphop bor.